opening, the holy ground beneath your feet. Imagine for just a moment that the ground beneath you is no longer ordinary. It is not lifeless cement, not the same patch of earth you walk across every day. It is sacred ground, not because it looks different, but because your awareness is fully present there. When you pause, take a deep breath, and allow your mind to stop running from the present moment, you will see that the sacred has never left you. God is not a distant star to be pleaded with. He is the breath moving through every beat of life. In a world filled with noise and haste, people have grown used to believing that the divine exists only in churches, within candlelight, or amidst solemn prayers. Yet the truth is disarmingly simple. There is never a moment without God, only moments when we forget to notice Him. We have been taught that awakening comes only after we achieve something, that peace belongs to those who are wiser, luckier, or living somewhere else. But that belief has made us lose the treasure already resting in our hands. The ground beneath you, whether it is the kitchen floor as you wash the dishes, the narrow road filled with traffic, or the dim corner of a weary day, can all become a temple of the soul if you choose to see through the eyes of presence. There is nothing to search for, nothing to wait for until things calm down, because now is already the most sacred moment. Perhaps your life has never been peaceful. Perhaps today is still a day full of worries. But pause for a moment and remember this. Even in the most ordinary things, there is always a light waiting to be recognized. When you see it, the door between the visible and the invisible opens, and you will understand the holy ground is not far away. It is right where you stand, within the breath you are taking in, removing the wall between sacred and ordinary. Since childhood, we have been subtly taught that there are sacred places and ordinary ones, that God exists only in temples, in chapels, in the sound of bells and the scent of incense, and that the small corners of life, the desk, the kitchen, the dusty road, are merely mundane. This division has been planted into our minds as an unquestionable truth, separating us from our own breath. But Emmet Fox reveals something different. There is no place where God is absent, only moments when our hearts close and forget to recognize Him. We spend our lives searching for the sacred in distant lands, in elaborate rituals, in prayers written by others. We wait for weekends to be still, wait until we have money to feel at peace, wait until life stops shaking to find calm. Yet peace does not depend on those conditions. Peace does not require a change of scenery, only a change of perception. Every situation, no matter how chaotic, carries within it a hidden lesson. Every encounter, even the uncomfortable ones, is a reminder of the parts of ourselves we have not yet understood. When this is seen, the boundary between sacred and ordinary dissolves. There remains only one reality. Everything is God, expressing Himself through the forms of life. Think of a rushed morning when you are stuck in traffic, surrounded by blaring horns and shallow breaths. If in that moment you pause, even for a second, and ask yourself, is God here? You will hear a quiet answer, I have always been here. Just look. When you open your heart to see, even the sound of the horn becomes a bell, reminding you that peace is nowhere else but in the breath you are taking. What distances us from the sacred is not difficult circumstances, but the habit of categorizing. This is spiritual, that is mundane. When the mind divides, energy disperses. When you believe God resides only in the church, you unknowingly close the door of your soul for the rest of the week. But when you realize He is also in a child's laughter, in the eyes of a street vendor, in your very breath, you begin to live a whole life. This world is not separate. All boundaries are creations of a limited mind. When you allow yourself to see God in the details, you expand the field of awareness. This vision needs no ritual, no theory, only deep attention. When washing dishes, you can see water not just as water, but as grace, cleansing old thoughts. When cleaning your home, every movement can become a silent prayer for your space. When speaking to someone, you can remember that your presence itself is a blessing. The sacred is not created by form, it is revealed through awareness. Without one who sees, every miracle passes unnoticed. The ground beneath your feet becomes holy only when you look through the eyes of the soul. And in that moment, you no longer need to go anywhere to find God, for you see him in everything, in the rain, in footsteps, even in your evening weariness. The greatest illusion humans believe is that peace will come once everything is settled. But in truth, peace is the only thing that has always been here, waiting to be noticed. It needs no condition, only presence. And when you are present, the world changes color. The noise gains rhythm, the fatigue turns into rest, and loneliness becomes a chance to meet yourself again. You do not need to wait for tomorrow, nor to be perfect to feel the sacred. The sacred never depends on what you have achieved, but only on whether you are seeing it now. So if at any moment today you feel empty, pause, place your hand on your heart, and remember, right now, right here, I am standing on holy ground. Thank you for listening. And I want to ask you one thing. Have you ever felt God's presence in your everyday life? If you have, share it with me, so I know you are truly here, present with this story. Suffering is a doorway. No one wishes for suffering, yet it is in those very moments that the soul finds its passage into deeper awareness. Whenever life feels confined, when plans collapse, when someone leaves, when a door slams shut in your face, it is not a sign of failure. It is the knocking of God, reminding you that it is time to turn inward. Emmet Fox once said, "When something falls apart, it means it can no longer support the higher frequency you are rising toward." Pain does not come to destroy you. It comes to open a new level of awareness, where the false must dissolve for the truth to emerge. People often fear emptiness, but emptiness is not an ending. It is the space between where the ego thins and the soul begins to breathe. When you lose your job, it may be the moment you are being called to live more truthfully with your real gifts. When you are betrayed, it may be the time to see how you have once betrayed yourself. When you stand at a crossroads, not knowing where to go, it may be the universe saying, "Stop, turn inward." Every pain carries a message, but you can only hear it when you stop judging it. We often ask, why is this happening to me? But the better question is, what is this teaching me? When you change the question, you shift the entire field of energy. From victim, you become student, and the student always has a chance to grow. No awakening is ever born in comfort. Ease teaches you nothing except how to repeat the old. Only when life cracks open can light come in. Those who have never been broken rarely know compassion. Those who have never lost rarely understand the value of love. The cracks in your heart are the very places where the light enters, not through theory, but through experience. Think back to the moments you thought you could never survive, yet here you are, standing still, stronger, quieter, and brighter. Those trials trained your capacity to listen. They forced you to look at how you react, how you resist, how you love. They showed you that life is not a string of victories, but a continuous refinement of the soul. Emmet Fox said, "Forgiveness frees the soul, but to forgive, you must first have been hurt. To have faith, you must once have been uncertain. To be compassionate, you must have felt weak." Suffering is the school of the most sacred qualities. Without it, the soul cannot mature. What is truly frightening is not pain itself, but when we refuse to face it. Because every time you deny part of your experience, you deny the chance to be reborn. Allow yourself to feel completely the pain, the anger, the regret, the disappointment, but do not stop there. Move through them with curiosity. What is being untangled within me? What is ready to change? When you ask this, energy begins to move, and within that movement, you grow. There are days when pain reveals no meaning. That is the stage when the seed lies buried in the dark soil. No one sees it, yet inside its structure is transforming. So are you. Every time you endure with patience, every time you stay with yourself instead of running away, you are sprouting. One day clarity will come, not loud or dramatic, but like dawn shining through the mist, warm, gentle, undeniable. Suffering is not a punishment, it is an invitation. When you meet it with stillness, you unlock a part of yourself that was hidden. When you dare to stay with your pain, without fleeing, you are learning to trust the process. For life never abandons us. It only changes form to remind us that strength does not lie out there, but within awareness itself. If today you are walking through suffering, know that nothing is wrong with you. You are not being punished. You are being refined. And one day when you look back, you will understand that this very path opened a door that comfort never could. You will silently thank the dark days, for they taught you to see light even before the dawn. Thank you for listening and allowing your heart to open with this story. If you have ever walked through pain and realized it made you stronger, leave the words, "I am ready to change," or simply the number 1. So I know you are walking this path of awakening with me. The inner center cannot be outsourced. Modern humans have become accustomed to outsourcing their souls to circumstances. When life flows smoothly, we smile and believe peace is with us. When everything falls apart, we immediately conclude that God has left. But God never leaves anyone. He simply stands still at the center, waiting for us to stop trembling so we can see that He has always been there. That center is not out there, not in anyone's hands, not in the amount of money in your account, nor in the approval of others. That center lives within you, in the quietest place, amid chaos. And your task is to learn how to return there. We have been trained to outsource our peace, blaming others, waiting for a better day, waiting for someone to change, waiting for the world to become kind. But true peace is never supplied from outside. It is activated from within. When you give control of your inner state to the external world, you will forever be tossed by waves. Today someone smiles and you feel joy. Tomorrow someone ignores you and you feel sad. Life becomes a boat without an anchor. Emmet Fox once said, "No circumstance can bind the one who knows who he is." That is not a comforting phrase, it is a spiritual law. Each time you react to the world with fear or anger, you hand over the keys of your soul to others. Every time you blame the weather, the economy, or fate, you are declaring that you have no power to create your own reality. But when you pause, take a deep breath, and say, "I choose to keep this peace," you reclaim your center. And as soon as the center returns, everything begins to revolve around it. Have you noticed how a truly calm person can bring silence to an entire room? How a panicked person can spread fear with just a glance? Because energy is the universal language. When you are steady within, the world begins to reflect that steadiness, not because you control others, but because you have learned to regulate your own frequency. The mind loves to play the victim. It always says, "When the rain stops, I will be happier. When I have money, I will feel secure. When they apologize, I will forgive." But the soul does not wait for conditions. The soul always says, "I can choose peace now." Peace is not a reward after the problem ends. Peace is the condition that allows the problem to dissolve. When you are calm, you can see the solution that panic would never let you see. Imagine being in the middle of a storm, with winds howling and rain pouring. If you chase the wind, you will exhaust yourself. But if you stand in the eye of the storm, there is an uncanny stillness. That center symbolizes awakened awareness. When you are there, you do not need the world to change direction, for you are the one holding the axis. Everything moves around your quiet presence. And from that stillness, your words carry weight, your gaze becomes clear, your steps become firm. True freedom does not come from controlling others, but from mastering your own inner current. When you master your mind, circumstances no longer dictate your emotions. Events become neutral data. You are the one who assigns meaning. When you shift perception, everything changes color. When you choose to see with clarity, chaos turns into opportunity, obstacles become lessons, and life becomes a true spiritual classroom. A strong soul is not one without storms, but one that never loses its center within them. Such a person still feels pain, still gets tired, still makes mistakes, yet does not fall apart. They do not deny the storm, they simply do not identify with it. They say, "This storm is passing through me, but I am not the storm." There is a simple truth. You cannot stop the rain from falling, but you can decide not to let it rain inside your heart. You cannot make everyone understand you, but you can choose how you understand them. And that is the kind of power the outer world can never touch. If today life feels demanding, remember that no one else is responsible for your energy but you. Call your center back to your heart. Stop outsourcing your peace to the weather, to work, or to your partner. Reclaim the sovereignty of your soul and declare, I am the keeper of this light. I will not wait for anyone else to bring it to me. When you speak those words, the universe listens, and you will realize that true peace was never lost. It was simply waiting for you to return, and remember that you are its guardian. From reaction to creative response. Most of the time, people do not truly live. They merely react. A single word from someone makes us shrink back. A forgotten message wounds us. An unexpected event triggers anger. We think we are choosing, but we are only reacting like a drum that sounds wherever it is struck. Emmet Fox called this state the slavery of circumstances, because every time you let emotions be controlled by the outside world, you are declaring that the outer world is stronger than the soul within. But that is not true. You always have the power to choose how to respond. And that is where spiritual creativity begins. Reaction is automatic. Response is conscious. When you react, you let the past dictate the present. When you respond, you let inner wisdom lead the way. Reaction is repetition. Response is creation. Two people may face the same event. One sees tragedy, the other sees opportunity. The difference does not lie in the event, but in the level of awareness of the observer. Imagine someone insults you. The first instinct is to defend or retaliate. But if you pause, take a breath, and ask, what kind of energy do I want to bring into this moment? You have just transformed the situation. You are no longer a victim of their words. You are the one shaping the atmosphere. A gentle response from a still center holds more power than 100 explanations. Silence that comes from awareness is not surrender. It is regenerative energy. It does not drain you. It opens space for what is right to appear. When you live in reaction, your energy is constantly pulled outward. Your emotions depend on other people's actions. But when you live in conscious response, your energy is reclaimed, redirected, and used for creation. You are no longer caught in someone else's story. You become the author of the atmosphere you breathe. From that space, every act, even the smallest one, becomes creative, for it arises from freedom, not reflex. Observe someone with inner strength. They do not speak much, yet every word carries weight. They do not need to prove themselves, for their presence is already a message. They do not react from anger, they respond from vision. And it is this coherence that brings order around them. When you step into the presence of such a person, you feel guided without knowing why. That is the power of creative response, something that cannot be imitated, only experienced when you are still enough. Emmet Fox said, nothing external can hurt you unless you allow it in your mind. That statement is the key. Pain does not come from the event, but from the meaning you assign to it. When you shift perception, energy immediately changes direction. A failure can become a valuable lesson. A criticism can become a call to awaken. A spiritual creator always asks, what is this inviting me to become? Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? They ask, what can I learn to rise higher? And that question opens the door to wisdom. Reaction is the echo of the old. Response is the rhythm of the new. When you react, you repeat history. When you respond, you rewrite the future. Each time you pause to choose your energy, you are realigning the world. Do not see it as a small act. One steady breath in the middle of chaos can shift the course of an entire day. One soft gaze instead of a harsh word can end a chain of resentment. That is the subtle art of living from within. You will not always do this perfectly. There will be moments when you lose your calm, moments when you slip back into reaction, moments when you forget. But every time you notice, smile and return. Do not judge yourself. Awareness itself is awakening in motion. Each time you return faster, the old pattern weakens. And one day, reaction will no longer be automatic. The space between what happens and how you respond will widen. And in that space, you will hear the voice of your soul. You were not born to live in reaction. You were born to respond with wisdom, to turn chaos into order, fear into understanding, and conflict into connection. When you begin to live this way, you not only transform your own life, but also the energy of the space around you. So when a situation arises, before reacting, pause and ask, what do I want to bring into this moment? That question is the bridge from unconsciousness to creation, from slavery to freedom. Thank you for listening and being here with me. Now I want to ask you, have you noticed the moments when you were only reacting and forgot that you could create light in that very situation? If you have, leave the words "I am ready to change" or the number 1 so I know you are present in this conversation. The law of thought in the field of consciousness. Emmet Fox once said, "Life is consciousness." The statement sounds simple, yet it is the key that unlocks the entire doorway of the spirit. Life is not what you are going through. It is how you are perceiving it. Everything that happens outside is only a mirror reflecting the world within. When the mind changes, the dimension changes. When the energy field within you rises, reality begins to rearrange itself to match that new frequency. You can verify this every day. When you wake up feeling heavy, even the smallest things seem unpleasant. But when you wake up in gratitude, with the same people and the same work, everything suddenly feels lighter, because you do not see the world with your eyes, you see it with your mind. The eyes are only windows. Consciousness is the one choosing the frame. The law of thought is not an abstract philosophy, it is the mechanism of the universe. Every thought you nurture is a command sent into the field of energy. The universe does not judge positive or negative. It simply responds to frequency. When you project fear, you attract situations that reinforce fear. When you project faith, you invite opportunities that expand that faith. There is no coincidence, no random luck or misfortune. Everything corresponds to the frequency of your consciousness. Look around. Some people live in hardship, yet remain peaceful, while others have abundance but are never at ease. The difference is not in the amount of money, but in the spiritual climate they maintain each day. The mind is the inner climate, and the environment is only the weather that reflects it. When the sunlight of faith shines within you, the world outside cannot stay cloudy for long. You may have heard, thought is the seed. When you sow a seed of fear, you harvest a garden of anxiety. When you sow forgiveness, you harvest peace. The truth is, we do not just plant one seed and stop. We plant all day long through thoughts, words, and emotions. So if you want to change the season, you must change the seed. The first step is observation. What am I thinking? What tone am I using when I speak to myself? Each time you say, life is unfair, you send out a signal that the world is against you. The field of consciousness records that as an instruction and returns more evidence to confirm it. But when you say, life is teaching me something, you open a new field, a classroom instead of a battlefield. And once the lesson is learned, the scenery outside transforms. This law has no exceptions and does not require belief to function. Like gravity, it works whether you are aware of it or not. Many people ask, if everything comes from my thoughts, what about tragedies, losses, and things I never wanted? The answer is not about what you consciously created, but the frequency you agreed to live in. You do not create events. You attract experiences that correspond to your energy field. When you live in guilt, you draw situations that make you feel guilty again. When you live in gratitude, life sends you more to be grateful for. This understanding is not to make you blame yourself, but to awaken your power of choice. If thought can create chaos, thought can also create harmony. Every time you change your thinking, you rewrite the energetic code of your reality. Start small. Instead of saying, I am exhausted, say, my body is asking to rest. Instead of saying, I am stuck, say, I am being paused to realign. These small shifts tune your frequency, and when the frequency shifts, the scenery follows. Emmet Fox called this mental equivalence spiritual correspondence. You cannot hold one state of consciousness and live another kind of life. If you think lack, you cannot live abundance, because the consciousness of lack will unconsciously sabotage every opportunity. If you think peace, you will act and decide from peace, and your outer results will mirror it. The universe is never biased. It only reflects. When you understand this law, everything in life becomes clearer. You stop asking, why is this happening? And start asking, what part of me does this reflect? From blame, you move to observation. From observation, you move to creation. And from creation, you begin to master your life. The law of thought does not promise a life without difficulty. It only ensures that your challenges will mirror the level of your awareness. When your consciousness expands, the same event carries new meaning. And the miracle is that once you see the meaning, you no longer need to change the circumstance, because awareness itself transforms it. Remember, life does not speak English or Vietnamese. It speaks the language of frequency. Every thought is a wave. Every emotion is a shade. When you live in the vibration of love, everything aligns around it. When you live in the vibration of fear, everything aligns around that fear. The only question is, what frequency are you broadcasting right now? Reconditioning the lens. Have you ever noticed how two people can look at the same event, yet see two entirely different worlds? One sees a challenge, the other sees an opportunity. One sees limitation, the other sees a lesson. The difference is not in reality itself, but in the lens they are wearing. That lens is the system of thoughts, beliefs, and memories that have been programmed within you long ago. To change your life, it is not enough to change the scenery. You must change the lens. Emmet Fox once taught, you do not live in the world as it is. You live in the world as you think it is. That statement is an invitation to step out of the collective dream. Since childhood, you have been taught to see life through the eyes of others, parents, teachers, society. They taught you what is right and wrong, what is worthy and shameful. And without realizing it, you put on those glasses, unaware that they blurred your vision. That lens made you judge instead of understand, react instead of observe, run away instead of face. Then one day, you begin to ask, why do I keep repeating the same situations? Why do I meet the same kind of people? Why do I circle around the same fears? The answer is that you are living inside an old mental structure, seeing life through an outdated, foggy lens, and life, faithful as a mirror, only reflects what you refuse to change. Reconditioning the lens is not about forcing yourself to think positive. It is the art of observation, to observe without judging, to see without clinging. When you start noticing your thoughts, just noticing, you create space between yourself and the automatic pattern. That space is the light of freedom. From there you can ask, do I still want to believe this? Does this belief still serve me? Some thoughts live in your mind like old tenants. They have stayed so long you mistake them for yourself. I am not good enough. I am unworthy. I am always abandoned. Every time you repeat a belief like that, you pay its rent with your energy. It is time to let them go. Open the door. Thank them for what they taught you, and invite new guests in. I am worthy. I am safe. I am loved. The interesting thing is, you cannot force the mind to be quiet. You can only redirect attention. When a negative thought arises, do not fight it. Observe it like a passing cloud. When you fight it, you feed it energy. When you observe it, you take away its power. The lens becomes clear again, and in that clarity the world becomes vivid. Emmet Fox compared the mind to a mirror. If the mirror is covered in dust, the reflection will be distorted. But you do not shatter the mirror because of an ugly image, you simply clean the dust. Each morning before the day begins, ask yourself, through what dust am I seeing the world today? It could be the dust of fear, of the past, of comparison, of judgment. Just noticing it means you have already started to clean. Reconditioning the lens does not happen overnight. It is a journey of observing, becoming aware, and choosing again. Each time you catch yourself in self-limiting thought, pause and say, thank you, but I choose to see differently. That phrase is not just words, it is energetic action. It recalibrates your frequency, creates a new rhythm in your brain, and signals to the universe that you are ready to live by truth instead of habit. You can start small. When you meet someone who irritates you, ask, Through what lens am I seeing them? Judgment, fear, or understanding? When you face a challenge, ask, am I seeing this through the eyes of the past or the present? The moment you ask, energy shifts, because questions open doors while judgments close them. No one can change your lens for you. A teacher can point the way, but only you can wear the new glasses. And when you start to see through the eyes of awareness, life itself changes. Colors grow clearer, opportunities appear where you once saw dead ends, and people seem kinder when you are no longer looking through the glass of fear. And someone might say, I want to see the world as a more positive place. Emmet Fox would smile and say, start by seeing yourself as more positive, because the world is not separate from you. When you change the lens, the film on the screen changes too. Remember, you do not need to be perfect. Every time you realize you were looking the wrong way and gently turn back, you have already adjusted your lens a little more. That is evolution. One day you will see that nothing really needed fixing, only the way you were seeing needed light. And when that light floods through, you no longer have to try to love life, because life itself becomes lovable. Thank you for listening. Now I invite you to pause for a moment. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what lens am I seeing the world through? If you are ready to change, leave the words I am ready to change, or simply the number one, so I know you are here, present, ready to clear the mirror of your mind. Facing and sanctifying pain. No one wants pain, yet no one matures without it. Pain is the uninvited guest that arrives, bearing gifts only the brave can open. Emmet Fox once said, pain is not the work, but it often precedes it. Pain itself is not the essence of the spiritual journey, but it is the threshold the soul must cross to be cleansed. Without suffering, there is no awakening. Without tears, there is no clarity of vision. Pain does not come to punish, but to awaken. We have been trained to run from pain. When we feel sad, we turn on music. When lonely, we scroll through social media. When disappointed, we eat, we work, we distract ourselves to forget. But avoidance does not dissolve pain. It only hides it deeper, turning into seeds of anxiety, fear, and repetition. A wound that is not faced will always find another way to speak, through repeating relationships, sudden anger, or the quiet voice of self-doubt. Pain does not need to be destroyed. It needs to be heard. When you stop running and simply sit with your pain, something miraculous happens. You begin to realize that beneath the chaos of emotion lies a message. At first, it may appear as anger. Beneath anger is fear. Beneath fear is sadness. And beneath it all is the longing to be seen, loved, and accepted. When you reach that depth, pain ceases to be an enemy. It becomes a teacher. It shows you what success and comfort never could. It shows you yourself. When you sit quietly with pain, you realize it has form, rhythm, and its own intelligence. It wants to reveal which part of you is still resisting life. And when you listen, the pain melts, not because it is forced away, but because it has completed its task. Think back to a moment that once broke you. Perhaps it was loss, separation, betrayal. At that time, you thought the world had ended. But years later, you see that those days made you softer, wiser, and stronger in love. Pain is the fire that refines the soul. It burns away illusion, pride, and pretense, leaving only what is real. Emmet Fox never glorified suffering, but he honored its power to transform. He taught that no challenge arises without carrying the seed of a greater good. That means every wound contains a seed of light, but that light blooms only when we stop condemning the pain. If you see your suffering as punishment, you close the door to the lesson. But if you see it as a signal, you open the door to healing. A spiritually mature person does not run from pain. They walk through it with stillness. They know that pain is not a sign of error, but a sign of transition, when an old layer dissolves and a new one is forming. They do not ask, when will this end? They ask, what is this teaching me? That question turns agony into initiation, tears into cleansing water, darkness into the cradle of light. There will be nights when you sit alone, hollow, with no way out in sight. Do not be afraid. Breathe and whisper, I am still here. Your presence itself is the first light in the dark. Each time you dare to feel, the darkness loses some of its power. Each time you stay, the fear softens a little more. And one day you will see, nothing within you ever wished to harm you. It all just longed to be transformed and loved. If you are in pain today, do not pretend to be strong. True strength is not in holding back tears, but in crying with awareness. Tears may wet your face, but they wash your soul. Let your heart crack open, for light can only enter through those cracks. Pain does not need your theories. It only needs your presence. You do not have to explain it. Just breathe and listen. When you are still enough, you will discover that behind pain lies a vast, quiet space. In that space, you will feel the presence of something immense and tender, what Emmet Fox called the presence of God within us. And when you touch that, pain loses its form, leaving only gratitude. So if your heart is breaking now, do not fear. You are not being punished. You are being shaped into a larger vessel for new light. The door of the soul opens on the hinges of pain. And when it opens, you step into a new land where there is no fear, only understanding. Thank you for staying here courageously with this story. Now, I want to ask you, has there ever been a pain that taught you your most precious lesson? If yes, leave the words, I am ready to change, or simply the number 1, so I know you are here, present with me, sanctifying pain instead of running from it. Spiritual practice and discipline. There is a paradox that most of us live with. Everyone wants peace, freedom, and clarity, yet no one wants discipline. We long for the results of an awakened being while keeping the habits of an unconscious one. Emmet Fox once said, there is no freedom without discipline, for discipline is the bridge between desire and manifestation. In other words, discipline does not imprison you. It frees you from your old instincts. The mind is like a wild child. If you do not teach it to sit still, it will drag you everywhere, from one fear to another, from one desire to the next. Spiritual discipline is the art of teaching that child to listen with patience, not punishment. It is not about forcing, but about training, not about achievement, but about balance. Every day offers countless opportunities to practice in how we react, speak, and face uncertainty. The undisciplined live by emotion, the disciplined live by truth, and truth does not sway with feelings. When the mind is trained, emotions still pass through you, but you no longer identify with them. Spiritual discipline begins with small things: waking up 5 minutes earlier to breathe, saying one less sentence when tempted to argue, taking 1 minute to observe a thought before concluding. These small moments are the true classroom of the soul. Each time you choose awareness over reaction, you strengthen a spiritual muscle. Over time, those invisible muscles become the quiet strength that holds you steady when storms arrive. People often ask, how can I keep peace consistently? The answer is not found in miracles, but in the habit of consciousness. Peace is not a fleeting feeling. It is the muscle of the spirit, built through mindful repetition. Just as the body needs exercise to grow strong, the mind needs practice to grow clear. True discipline does not mean forcing yourself to be cheerful, positive, or perfect. True discipline is being honest with yourself in every moment. It is daring to look at your fear, confusion, and fatigue without escape. It is having the courage to breathe through anger and whisper, I can still choose differently. Emmet Fox compared discipline to the gatekeeper of the mind. The gatekeeper watches every thought that comes in. When a negative thought appears, the gatekeeper does not attack it, but simply says, I see you, but you may not stay. That is the essence of discipline, gentle yet firm. It does not suppress emotion, it restores order to emotion. In this age of speed, the disciplined one dares to go slow. They understand that every miracle requires the delay of awareness to take shape. An untrained person reacts instantly and regrets later. The disciplined one pauses. That pause is where wisdom speaks. And within that pause, you hear the voice of the soul. Do not rush. Look deeper. Sometimes discipline means choosing silence over explanation, walking away instead of winning, holding one steady breath when the heart wants to break. No one will applaud those moments. but the universe will. Each time you do, your energy refines, becoming clearer, stronger, closer to your true center. Spiritual discipline does not yield instant results. It takes time, repetition, and sincerity. You will fail, forget, react, and grow tired, but what matters is how quickly you return. Each return is evolution. One day, you will notice you no longer react as before, no longer get triggered as easily, no longer need to prove yourself. That is when you will know discipline has become natural, like breathing. Emmet Fox emphasized, discipline does not create rigidity. It keeps the spiritual stream clear. When you stay within the structure of awareness, you do not lose freedom, you expand it. True freedom is not doing whatever you want, but not being controlled by anything. And only the disciplined reach that place. If you are walking the path of inner training today, do not expect quick results. Trust the process. Like learning music, at first you will miss notes, lose rhythm, and feel frustrated. But with each repetition, your hands learn the harmony. One day, you will play effortlessly because the melody has entered your blood. Spiritual discipline is the same. When it ripens, you no longer try to be at peace. You become peace itself. Thank you for staying until the end of this part. Before we continue, I want to ask you one thing. Do you believe that the greatest strength comes from the smallest daily choices? If you do, leave the words "I am ready to change" or the number 1, so I know you are still practicing with me, quietly, steadily, but full of light. The law of correspondence works without belief. There is a truth Emmet Fox repeated throughout his teachings. Asterisk as within, so without. Asterisk. This is not a poetic phrase, but an unchanging law of the soul. You do not need to believe in it for it to work, just as you do not need to believe in gravity to be pulled to the ground. The law of correspondence operates silently, precisely, and without bias. It mirrors your inner world onto the screen of your life, in every detail, every emotion, every person you meet. Many people think the world is against them, that they are unlucky, misunderstood, or betrayed. But if you look deeper, you will see that these situations are simply returning an honest picture of the frequency you are broadcasting. When fear lives within you, you will see proof of threat. When gratitude lives within you, you will see miracles. The universe does not judge. It only reflects. Imagine a great mirror before you. If your face is frowning, the mirror cannot reflect a smile. If you want the image in the mirror to smile, you must smile first. Life works the same way. If you want a loving world, you must love first. If you want peace, you must be peace. You cannot fix the mirror without adjusting the face. Many misunderstand this law, thinking it means whatever I think will instantly appear. But it operates by vibration, not by words. You may say, "I'm fine," but if within you there is trembling, the universe will respond to the vibration, not the sentence. Honesty with yourself is the first step toward harmony with the law. Emmet Fox said, "The outer world has no existence of its own. It is only film illuminated by consciousness. When you change the inner light, the image on the film changes." The problem is that most people try to fix the film while keeping the same light. They change jobs, cities, partners, yet find the same story repeating because the source of light, the field of consciousness, remains the same. The law of correspondence is not punishment. It is the most perfect learning mechanism of the soul. It shows you what you have not yet recognized in yourself. When someone makes you angry, it reveals the part of you still needing healing. When circumstances make you anxious, it points to your lack of trust in divine guidance. When you feel abandoned, it is an invitation to love yourself more deeply. Life is not against you. It is teaching you through the images you project. So instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this reflecting within me?" That question shifts you from victim to student, and a student can change the lesson. As soon as you change your frequency, your thinking, feeling, and speaking, reality adjusts to match it. This also explains why rituals and affirmations only work when they come from genuine belief. You can repeat hundreds of affirmations, but if doubt still vibrates beneath them, doubt is the message the universe receives. On the other hand, one sentence spoken from true conviction can reverse an entire current of energy. A common misunderstanding is treating the law of correspondence as a simple law of attraction. Think good, get good. But Emmet Fox did not speak of attraction. He spoke of resonance. You do not pull things toward you. You resonate with them. You do not chase miracles. You become one. And when your vibration rises, everything out of tune with it naturally falls away, as gently as a leaf that drops when its season ends. You might ask, what if I am facing injustice? I never chose that. Remember, this law does not say you get what you want. It says you experience what you correspond with. A part of you, perhaps in the subconscious, perhaps in an old belief, is agreeing with that energy. And here lies the good news. You can choose again. Awareness gives you the key to change. Change does not come from blame, but from honest observation. When you observe without condemning, the energy field corrects itself, just as a room brightens when you open the curtains. You do not have to fight darkness. You simply let in light. Likewise, you do not need to battle circumstances. You only need to raise awareness. The situation will naturally shift. The law of correspondence is the map of freedom. When you understand it, you no longer fear what happens outside, because you know you can shift inside and see the outer change. You become the navigator instead of the passenger. And when you hold your center, the outer world begins to arrange itself around your stillness, like a lake reflecting the sky once the wind has ceased. If today life is showing you discomfort, do not rush to judge it. See it as a letter from the universe telling you there is a belief within waiting to be healed. Each realization breaks a pattern, and gradually you enter a peace that needs no effort, for your inner and outer worlds have become one harmonious note. Remember, this law does not need your belief to work, but when you believe and cooperate with it, you live like the painter of your own masterpiece, no longer fearing randomness or blaming fate. Thank you for listening. Now, pause for a moment and look around you. Everything you see, your room, your work, your relationships, is only a reflection of your inner field of consciousness. Are you ready to change within so that the world around you changes too? If you are, leave the words "I am ready to change" or the number 1 so I know you are walking with me into the awareness of this law of correspondence where miracles begin, the author instead of the victim. Inside every person, 2 voices coexist. One is the voice of the creator and the other is the voice of the victim. The first says, I can choose how to respond. The second whispers, I have no choice. Most of the time we live by that whisper without realizing it. But Emmet Fox reminded us, asterisk, no one can make you unhappy unless you agree. Asterisk. And when you truly understand that, you reclaim the authorship of your life. The victim always has reasons. The creator always has choices. The victim says, I am like this because of my parents, because of circumstances, because of others. The creator says, I became who I am through what I experienced. One lives in the past, the other in the present. One looks for blame, the other looks for direction. These 2 paths create 2 completely different lives. When you identify as a victim, you unconsciously unplug your own power. You wait for the world to apologize, for others to change, for life to turn in your favor, and you become dependent on what you cannot control. But when you identify as the author, you return to your center. You do not deny the wound, but you refuse to let it define your road. You no longer need anyone else to be responsible for your happiness, because you know happiness is an inner choice. Emmet Fox compared human beings to artists. Every thought is a brushstroke, every word a color, every action a contour on the canvas of life. If the current painting is not what you want, there is no need to blame the paint or the frame. You simply keep painting. Authorship means daring to pick up the brush again, to correct, to rewrite, to live anew. No one ever steps out of darkness through blame. Blame keeps you in the same place. It gives a sense of righteousness, yet robs you of the ability to change. When you say, I cannot, because of them, you hand over the key to your freedom. But when you say, I can learn from this, you open the door for strength to return. The victim lives inside the old story. They tell it again and again until it becomes their identity. The author writes a new chapter. They do not deny the past, but they use it as material. Like a musician who turns sadness into a song, they turn pain into creative energy. They know that wounds are only the opening chapter, not the whole book. There are people who have faced immense tragedy, loss, betrayal, or poverty, yet emerge with warm hearts. They do not deny darkness, they transform it into light. That is authorship in human form, and that power exists in every one of us, no matter our circumstances. Emmet Fox said, asterisk, you cannot write a new script with the old pen of resentment. Asterisk. That line holds deep truth. If you use the same energy of blame, bitterness, or anger, you will only repeat the same story in a different disguise. Authorship demands honesty and courage, the courage to look within without justification. The author is not perfect, but responsible. They do not punish themselves endlessly. They learn. They do not say, I am broken. They say, I am rebuilding. They know no one can write their ending except themselves. Every time they forgive, they rewrite. Every time they choose calm over anger, they rewrite. Every time they dare to love again, they rewrite. And slowly their life becomes a testimony to the strength of the human spirit. Being the author does not mean pretending everything is fine. It means recognizing that you are creating your reality moment by moment. If you think you are weak, you will act weak. If you believe you are strong, you will act strong. The universe reflects not your words, but the energy you live in. Authorship begins with believing in your capacity for responsibility. Many fear responsibility, thinking it is a burden. In truth, responsibility is the bridge to freedom. When you take responsibility, you reclaim the right to correct, to choose again, to create anew. No one can trap you in the old story except yourself. If today you feel like a victim of a situation, a relationship, or a memory, stop and breathe. Tell yourself, I choose to rewrite this chapter. That statement is your declaration of power. You do not deny the pain, you simply refuse to let it hold the pen. Emmet Fox taught, asterisk. When you take responsibility for your mind, you take responsibility for your universe. Asterisk. Every thought is a line, and you are the author of the book called My Life. Do not let the old chapter repeat just because you resist changing the tone. Choose to write in the voice of understanding, faith, and freedom. Now I invite you to pause, take a deep breath, place your hand on your heart, and ask yourself, asterisk, whose voice am I using to tell the story of my life, the creators or the victims? Asterisk. If you are ready to pick up the pen again, leave the words asterisk, asterisk, I am ready to change asterisk, asterisk, or simply the number asterisk, asterisk, 1 asterisk, asterisk, so I know you are here, rewriting your story, line by line, with your own light, words, as in vocation. Emmet Fox once taught, asterisk words are the first form of creation. Asterisk words are not merely tools to describe the world, they are the energy that shapes it. Every sentence you speak, whether whispered in thought or spoken aloud, is a command sent into the energetic field of the universe. Words are the knocks on the door of reality, and whatever is repeated enough times will eventually be opened. People often underestimate the power of their words. We casually say, it's just talk, but the universe does not understand jokes. It only hears the frequency of words and responds faithfully. When you say, I'm so tired, you send out the vibration of exhaustion. When you say, I never have good luck, you are affirming to the law of correspondence that you wish to see more proof of that. In this way, language becomes the mold that shapes your experience of life. Those who understand the power of words treat them as sacred instruments. They choose them not for decoration, but for direction. When they say, I am at peace, it is not self-comfort. It is a creative declaration, an invitation for the soul to step into the space of serenity. Emmet Fox did not encourage repeating hundreds of affirmations mechanically. He emphasized that the power of an affirmation lies not in its quantity, but in the asterisk, asterisk conviction of the mind, asterisk, asterisk. If the mouth says, I am strong, but the heart trembles, the universe hears the trembling. But if you say it once with full breath and faith, that single vibration begins to reshape reality. Words are asterisk, asterisk, summoning signals, asterisk, asterisk, calling corresponding possibilities toward you. When you say, I am ready to receive good, you are not begging. You are tuning yourself to resonate with goodness. Like a radio set to the right frequency, you begin to catch the melody meant for you, and that melody expresses itself through people, events, and opportunities. The first art of mastering speech is asterisk, asterisk awareness. When speaking, asterisk, asterisk. Before uttering anything, ask, what energy does this word create? The sentence, I can't take this anymore, is not mere complaint. It is an order to your mind to gather evidence that supports it. The sentence, I am learning to stay calm, opens a completely different path, the path of growth. Remember, the universe does not distinguish between joke and truth. It only mirrors vibration. If you often speak in sarcasm, pessimism, or self-doubt, you are unconsciously reprogramming your field in reverse. One sentence like, I'm not good enough, repeated 10 times a day, is stronger than any seminar on self-development you could attend. But the good news is also true. A single, honest, life-affirming sentence, repeated consistently, can reopen doors long closed. Language is not only what you speak aloud, it is also asterisk, asterisk, the dialogue within asterisk, asterisk. Each day, thousands of inner sentences echo through your mind. I never do anything right. No one understands me. I'm worthless. Those lines form the background music of your life. They shape emotion, attitude, and outcome. So the first step in mastering words is learning to asterisk, asterisk, listen to yourself, asterisk, asterisk. When you catch a negative inner phrase, do not panic. Simply stop and replace it with one that is truthful but more open. If you cannot yet say, I am completely confident, say, I am learning to trust myself. If you cannot say, I love my life, say, I am learning to open my heart to life. Each phrase like that is a small step lifting you out of the pit of self-criticism. Think of words as seeds you plant into the air. One day they will bloom into experience. So plant carefully. Plant with gratitude, clarity, and light. When you bless others, you expand your own garden. When you speak kindly, that energy returns not as reward, but as the natural reflection of your frequency. Emmet Fox wrote, asterisk, when you speak with a clear mind, your words become power. When you speak unconsciously, your words become chains. Asterisk, guard your mouth as a keeper, God's sacred fire. Let every sentence be a ray of light, not ornate, but true and intentional. You can begin today. Before you speak, pause half a second and ask, what am I invoking with this sentence? If it is fear, change it to love. If it is doubt, change it to faith. If it is limitation, open it to possibility. And remember that silence, too, is a form of speech. Sometimes asterisk, asterisk, not speaking asterisk, asterisk is the strongest statement. A silence born from understanding can heal more than 1,000 explanations. When you are silent with clarity, the space around you becomes still. That is the language of the highest vibration, the language of presence. Words are the mirror of the soul. Use them to illuminate, not to hide. Each time you speak truthfully from the heart, you tune the rhythm of the entire universe around you. Thank you for being here. Now I want to ask you, asterisk, asterisk, what words do you often say to yourself that may be limiting you the most? Asterisk, asterisk. Write it down, then rewrite it into a brighter truth. And if you can feel the power of words awakening within you, leave the words asterisk, asterisk, I am ready to change, asterisk, asterisk, or simply the number asterisk, asterisk, one asterisk, asterisk. So I know you are still here, opening the sacred language of the soul with me, living without delay. There is a subtle illusion most people fall into. Asterisk, I will truly live when things get better. Asterisk, when I have money, I will be happy. When my work is stable, I will feel at peace. When others understand me, I will finally be myself. But Emmet Fox called this times the trance of tomorrow asterisk, the state in which we hang our souls on the future and lose the miracle of the present. Life never begins on another day. It begins asterisk asterisk the moment you are fully here. Procrastination is fear wearing the mask of logic. It says, not yet, not enough, not ready. But there is never a perfect time, because the perfection you are waiting for does not exist. How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow, and found yourself repeating that same line for years? Procrastination is asterisk. Asterisk the temple of fear, decorated with reasonable excuses. Asterisk, asterisk. Emmet Fox emphasized asterisk. The mind that delays is not afraid of failure, it is afraid of change. Asterisk. Because true change does not happen out there, it happens inside consciousness. The moment you act now, you are breaking the structure of delay. Every small action becomes a declaration. Asterisk, I trust life more than fear. Asterisk. Living without delay does not mean rushing, it means asterisk. Asterisk. Stopping the wait for conditions to be perfect before showing up. Asterisk. Asterisk. You stop waiting for life to calm down before you smile. You stop waiting for an apology before forgiving. You stop waiting for the world to be kinder before being kind. When you do these things in the midst of chaos, you are not just living, you are asterisk, asterisk, creating sacred order within disorder. Asterisk, asterisk. Think of how many times you postponed joy. You said, when this project ends, I will rest. When the kids grow up, I will have time for myself. When things settle, I will start again. But one project follows another. Children grow, and new worries arrive. One crisis ends, and another begins. The waiting never ends, and in the process, you lose youth, laughter, and the simple sensation of being alive. Asterisk, asterisk. Life is not too short. We just wait too long. Asterisk, asterisk. Some people use procrastination as a shield. They believe that by not starting, they still have hope. But in truth, asterisk, asterisk delay is a refined way of sustaining permanent disappointment. Asterisk, asterisk. Without action, there can be no result. And inaction itself is a declaration that you do not yet believe you deserve it. Emmet Fox taught, asterisk. There is no better time to start creating your new life than now, because now is the only point of power. Asterisk. Real change can only begin the moment you say now. Not tomorrow, not when you are more confident, but asterisk, asterisk, the instant you choose presence. Asterisk, asterisk. When you say now, the universe begins to move with you. To live without delay is also to asterisk, asterisk, release the illusion of control. Asterisk, asterisk. When you wait for the perfect moment, you are still trying to control life's conditions. But life does not wait for you to finish editing the script. It wants you to step onto the stage with trembling hands and an uncertain heart, because it is asterisk. Asterisk, the imperfection itself that creates the miracle. Asterisk, asterisk. If you have ever admired courageous people, know this. They did not begin because they stopped being afraid, but because they asterisk, asterisk, refused to let fear decide the timing. Asterisk, asterisk. They understood that confidence is not a prerequisite. It is born in motion. They walk even while shaking, and the step itself creates the path. Look at your own life. How many doors remain closed because you are waiting for the right time? How many relationships remain broken because you are waiting for the other person to move first? How many dreams sleep in drawers because you are waiting for better conditions? The truth is, the right time, asterisk, asterisk, appears only when you start walking. Asterisk, asterisk. To live without delay means to live by asterisk, asterisk decision, not by excuse. Asterisk, asterisk. A small decision to wake up earlier, to make a call, to write a paragraph, to breathe before reacting can change the course of a day. Not because the act itself is big, but because it asterisk, asterisk breaks the old pattern of waiting. Asterisk, asterisk. Each time you choose action over delay, you send a new signal to the universe. Asterisk, I am ready to live. Asterisk. Those who live without delay know that every moment holds asterisk, asterisk, a sacred doorway. Asterisk, asterisk. When you are fully present, you turn the ordinary into the miraculous. Washing dishes becomes meditation. A conversation becomes an opportunity to love. A red light becomes a reminder that you have time to breathe. Emmet Fox said, asterisk, you don't need to change the world to begin. You just need to change your posture within it. Asterisk, when you shift from waiting to presence, you change the entire current of life. Everything begins to respond to your new energy. People, opportunities, ideas, all appear right on time. So today, as you read this, allow yourself to asterisk, asterisk, stop waiting. Asterisk, asterisk. Do not wait to be perfect, to be fearless, to be approved. Begin with the smallest thing you have been postponing. Clean that room. Write the first line of that story. Make that call. Or simply sit still and take a deep breath. Life never asks times when asterisk. It only asks times now. Asterisk. What do you choose? Thank you for listening. Now I ask you, asterisk, asterisk, what part of you is ready to begin again yet still waiting? Asterisk, asterisk. If you can hear the call of the present moment, leave a comment saying asterisk, asterisk, I am ready to change, asterisk, asterisk, or simply the number asterisk, asterisk, 1, asterisk, asterisk, so I know you have chosen times now. Times instead of time someday. Asterisk. Faith with direction. Faith is a word everyone knows, yet few truly understand. Many believe faith is blind hope, a kind of naive belief that everything will somehow be fine. But Emmet Fox called that times scattered faith, times an energy without focus or aim, which therefore cannot create real power. True faith is not emotion. Asterisk, asterisk. Faith is the direction of consciousness. Asterisk, asterisk. It does not depend on conditions. It rests upon principle. When you set your mind toward what is right, all else arranges itself accordingly. Directed faith is asterisk, asterisk, intentional focus, asterisk, asterisk. It does not ask, do I have enough faith, but rather, where is my faith directed? Because the truth is, everyone has faith, only many place it in the wrong direction. Those who believe in fear use their faith to make fear grow stronger. Those who believe in limitation use their faith to make limitation thicker. Faith does not distinguish good from bad. It simply magnifies what you choose to believe. Look at your daily life. What do you believe in more, that things will go wrong, or that an unseen order is working to lift you higher? Do you believe in miracles, or in a harsh, indifferent world? Your answer defines your entire experience. Asterisk, asterisk, because you do not live according to what you want, you live according to what you believe is true. Emmet Fox taught that times faith is a form of divine intelligence. Asterisk. It is not sentimental. It has structure. When you direct faith toward divine principles, life, love, order, truth, that faith becomes the energy that reorganizes chaos. When you direct it toward fear, doubt, or lack, it becomes the energy that strengthens confusion. Faith, wherever placed, always works. The only question is asterisk, asterisk, whether you are using it as a healing tool or as a blade that wounds. Many people say they have no faith, yet they do only point it the wrong way. They believe they are not capable, that the world is unfair, that others decide their worth. And because faith is creative energy, those beliefs become reality. Faith is not confined to prayers. It lives in asterisk, asterisk, every thought you repeat. Asterisk, asterisk. Each time you say, I can't, you are performing a ritual of faith in limitation. Imagine faith as a beam of light. When scattered, the light is weak. But when gathered into a single laser, it can cut through steel. Directed faith is that focused light, aimed toward what is true, toward the sacred nature of life, the power of healing, the order beneath chaos. When you hold that beam long enough, darkness cannot remain, not because you fight it, but because asterisk asterisk light simply overpowers by being itself. Asterisk asterisk. A person with directed faith does not live in denial. They see the problem, but they know it is not the whole truth. They do not deny the storm, but they trust the sky behind the clouds. They are not naive. They have asterisk asterisk vision. Asterisk asterisk. For they understand that circumstances are temporary, while spiritual principle is eternal. Emmet Fox wrote, asterisk faith is not hope. Faith is the perception of divine order beneath change. Asterisk. When you have that kind of faith, you no longer wait for outer signs to feel secure. You begin to asterisk asterisk create order through the stability of your own inner being. There will be times of doubt, moments when you are tired and ask, can I still believe? That is natural. Directed faith does not demand constant strength. It only asks that you asterisk asterisk return to the right direction each time you drift. Asterisk asterisk. When doubt arises, do not judge yourself. Simply ask, where is my faith pointing toward fear or toward divine order? That question itself becomes your compass back home. You do not need perfect faith. You only need asterisk asterisk consistent direction. Asterisk asterisk. When a ship's course is set correctly, even through storms, it will reach the shore. Directed faith works the same way. It does not avoid the storm, but it keeps you from losing your path. One day, after surviving many tempests, you will realize that what held you steady was not strength, but asterisk asterisk, the accuracy of your belief. Asterisk asterisk. Try a simple practice. Each morning before your day begins, place your hand over your heart and say, asterisk, today I direct my faith toward the light. Asterisk. Do not try to feel anything special. Just repeat it daily. Over time, you will notice greater calm, deeper trust, and a quiet resilience that no circumstance can shake. That is when asterisk, asterisk, faith has found its direction. Asterisk, asterisk. If today you find yourself in a fog of doubt, remember, the light has never gone out. It is only hidden. And each time you return your trust to divine order, the clouds begin to part. Life does not need you to be perfect only to asterisk, asterisk, return once more. Thank you for staying and keeping your faith alive. Now I ask you, asterisk, asterisk. When life becomes uncertain, what helps you hold your faith? Asterisk, asterisk. Share it below, or simply write asterisk, asterisk. I am ready to change asterisk, asterisk, or the number asterisk, asterisk, one asterisk, asterisk. So I know you are here, turning the light of faith back toward where it truly belongs, sanctifying the ordinary. Human beings often seek the sacred in special places, in temples, on mountaintops, in moments of transcendence. But Emmet Fox said, asterisk, there is no spot more holy than the one where you stand. Asterisk. For God does not dwell in distant sanctuaries. He lives in every breath, every task, every moment of ordinary life. Asterisk, asterisk. The sacred is not in the place. It is in perception. Asterisk, asterisk. When you begin to see holiness in what seems mundane, your life transforms completely. Washing dishes is no longer a chore, but a meditation. Going to work becomes an act of service, not obligation. Even waiting at a red light can be a sacred pause, a moment to breathe and whisper, asterisk, I am alive, I am here. Asterisk. In that instant, the ordinary turns asterisk, asterisk, radiant. Asterisk, asterisk. We were taught that the sacred must be lofty and solemn, but Emmet Fox reminded us, asterisk, God hides in simplicity. Asterisk, if you seek him only in rituals, you will miss him in a child's laughter, in a stranger's glance, in the wind brushing through your window. Each day, God speaks to you through 1,000 forms. You only need to listen with an awakened heart. Someone once asked, how can I find God amid such pressure and confusion? Fox answered simply, by bringing divine awareness into that very pressure and confusion. When you work with love, speak with kindness, and choose to see light in others rather than their faults, that is when you asterisk, asterisk, sanctify the ordinary, asterisk, asterisk. Imagine if each of us treated daily work as prayer, if driving became a ritual of patience, cooking a ceremony of nourishment, conversation, a meeting of souls. How could anything remain ordinary? Fox taught, asterisk enlightenment does not come from leaving the world, but from seeing God in everything within it. Asterisk. Some people hide in silence to find peace, but true peace begins when you asterisk. Asterisk brings silence into noise. Asterisk, asterisk. When you can stand in the market amid horns and chaos and still keep the rhythm of your breath steady, that is when you have turned daily life into holy ground. We often divide time into sacred and secular. This is meditation, that is work. This is spiritual, that is worldly. But that separation exists only in the mind. Life is not fragmented. Every act is an expression of consciousness. When your heart is clear, everything you do shines. When your mind is clouded, everything you do feels heavy. Asterisk, asterisk. There are no ordinary acts, only an unawakened mind looking at them. Asterisk, asterisk. A cup of tea poured with mindfulness carries more grace than an hour of prayer in distraction. A sincere thank you uplifts the soul more than 1,000 hurried recitations. What makes an act sacred is not its form, but asterisk, asterisk, the awareness you bring to it. When you clean your room, remember you are clearing space for your spirit. When you walk, know that each step is the footprint of life itself. When you smile at someone, remember you are softening a corner of the world. These small gestures, repeated daily, are asterisk, asterisk, the rituals of the awakened soul. Asterisk, asterisk. Sanctifying the ordinary does not require you to become someone else. It only asks that you asterisk, asterisk, be more fully present, asterisk, asterisk, in what you already do. When you wash your hands, just wash. When you eat, just eat. When you speak, just speak. Everything becomes transparent, and through that clarity you feel life moving through you. Emmet Fox said, asterisk, you do not need to ask God to come closer. He is already here. You only need to recognize him. Asterisk. That is the essence of sanctifying the ordinary, not summoning the divine from afar, but asterisk, asterisk, opening your eyes to see that he never left. Asterisk, asterisk. When you realize this, stillness begins to seep into your daily rhythm. You work without strain. You speak without fear. You love without demand. Life softens because you have stopped dividing the sacred from the ordinary. They have merged into one. And perhaps that is the greatest gift of awareness, understanding that asterisk, asterisk, everything is already holy if you are willing to see it through the eyes of the soul. Before we close, I want to ask you, asterisk, asterisk, is there something in your life you once considered ordinary but now see as sacred? Asterisk, asterisk, share it below, or simply write asterisk, asterisk. I am ready to change, asterisk, asterisk, or the number asterisk, asterisk, 1, asterisk, asterisk. So I know you are here learning with me how to turn each day into a ritual of light. The final union. At the end of the journey, after you have walked through pain, practiced spiritual discipline, understood the law of correspondence, reclaimed authorship, mastered your words, stopped delaying life, and redirected your faith, you begin to see what Emmet Fox called asterisk, asterisk, the final union. Asterisk, asterisk. It is the moment you stop searching for God outside yourself, stop dividing yourself into good and bad, stop separating the sacred from the ordinary. You realize that asterisk, asterisk, everything is one. Asterisk, asterisk. And in that oneness you are free. Union does not arrive like thunder or a blinding light. It comes quietly, like dawn slipping through the window. One morning you wake and realize there is nothing left to prove. You no longer need to be understood, nor to race against life. You simply know, deep in your bones, that asterisk, asterisk, you are enough. Asterisk, asterisk. You do not have to strive to be divine, for your very nature already is. Emmet Fox said, asterisk, you do not need to climb to heaven to meet God. Bow down, for he is in your breath. Asterisk. That line opens a sacred recognition. God is not somewhere distant. He is the life breathing through you, seeing through your eyes, feeling through your heart. When you realize this, you are no longer separate from life itself. Asterisk, asterisk. You and God are one current of energy. Asterisk, asterisk. Union does not mean you are without flaws. It means you asterisk, asterisk no longer fight yourself. Asterisk, asterisk. You accept the parts once rejected, the fear, the weakness, the mistakes. You do not deny them, you hold them gently in awareness. When the light of consciousness touches darkness, the darkness dissolves not because it is defeated, but because it is understood. In union, you begin to see the world differently. You see that those who hurt you were only lost in their own dream. You no longer hold anger because you understand. Forgiveness stops being effort. It becomes instinct. You see in them the same energy that flows through you. And when you see that, every wall within your heart falls away. Fox taught asterisk. When you understand the law of mind, you understand there are no others. There are only different expressions of the same life. Asterisk. Living from that awareness, you stop reacting, stop arguing, stop needing to win. Everything that happens becomes a message. Everyone you meet becomes a teacher. Every circumstance becomes an opportunity to see a deeper truth. In union, you also stop dividing spirit from matter. You recognize that matter is simply spirit in denser form. Everything you touch, a table, a glass, a sound, a beam of light, is asterisk, asterisk, a manifestation of the same divine energy. Asterisk, asterisk. When you look through those eyes, the world ceases to be ordinary. Every detail becomes a window into the infinite. You begin to live differently, slower, softer, clearer. You speak less, but your words carry weight. You act not for personal gain, but as part of the asterisk, asterisk, holy flow of life itself. Asterisk, asterisk. You no longer pray to ask, but to align. You no longer ask, why is this happening? But, what is this teaching me about the nature of God within me? At this stage, peace is no longer conditional. It does not come from smooth days or easy roads. It arises from asterisk, asterisk, inner clarity, asterisk, asterisk, the knowing that you are being carried, moment by moment, whether or not you are aware of it. Peace is no longer a goal. It becomes your atmosphere. And when you reach union, you realize that the journey was never meant to end. Life is perpetual movement, and God is not the destination. He is asterisk, asterisk, the current within every step. Asterisk, asterisk. Each day, you keep returning, opening, expanding in love. But now, you do not seek wholeness to be worthy. You expand because it is your joy to flow with life. Emmet Fox said, asterisk. When you know that God is all, there is nothing left to seek. Asterisk. That is ultimate freedom. You no longer need saving, proving, or striving to be loved. You simply asterisk, asterisk, show up, fully asterisk, asterisk, knowing that your presence itself is God expressing through you. When you look around, you see that every human being, lost or awakened, is a reflection of the same light. There is no longer us and them, no longer good or bad. There is only asterisk, asterisk awareness unfolding. Asterisk, asterisk. And in that unfolding, your heart softens, widens, and fills with peace. Here, you need no conclusion, because this very moment, as you read these words, asterisk, asterisk, you are standing on holy ground. Asterisk, asterisk, not on a mountaintop far away, but right where you sit, breathe, and listen. If you close your eyes gently, you may feel a deep silence rise within. That silence is life whispering. Asterisk, you have come home. Asterisk, and you know you never truly left. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Now I ask you, asterisk, asterisk, do you feel that this life, with all its highs and lows, is the sacred ground of the soul? Asterisk, asterisk. If you do, leave a comment saying asterisk, asterisk, I am ready to change. Asterisk, asterisk, or simply the number asterisk, asterisk, 1, asterisk, asterisk, as a declaration that you have returned whole, peaceful, and one.